Happy Sunday, everybody. My name is Scott Minden. So excited to have you with us. If you've been in the chat since 8 o'clock, thank you for being in there. Sometimes the fun part about being here on Sundays live is you get to hop in the chat and talk for a little bit. We are a church in multiple locations, and we have a physical location in Minnesota, and we were there helping set up and just got stuck there trying to make sure everybody was in a good spot there. We had a big storm come through here in the Twin Cities yesterday, and we were just checking in on everybody, and so sometimes you just get caught in those things. So thank you for being patient. If you're watching midweek, you have no idea. My name is Scott Mendenhall. We are excited to be with you. I'm joined by some of my fabulous friends. We got Joey over here to my right. How we doing, Joe?
I am doing good.
Joey, we
doing good.
We don't do this enough, but what is your real name? Because people think it's Joey.
People do think it's Joey. Joel.
Joel.
Yeah, I don't like to be called Joel. Nobody calls me Joel.
Like was
literally
that,
my whole life.
When you got
even
married,
my parents call me Joey.
When you got married, I remember being like, "Is this the right person?"
Yeah.
Because it's the first time I ever saw your real name.
Yeah, on like the official documents and stuff, it's Joel. And
yeah.
So will put my real name if I don't know.
If you get in trouble when you're growing up, do your mom or dad go, Joel?
No.
No. Wow.
No.
Wow. And then we got Lily over here who looks like she has a splinter in her finger.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was like a little blood blister that finally just came off. But anyways.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. Lily's really been adulting in the last 24 hours. What have you been doing the last 24 hours, Lil?
Used shop vac a lot. I cleaned some drywall dust. I painted a room.
And
I almost changed some outlets, but then I was like, let's wait for.
Wait, you put all the outlets in the studio.
I
you
did,
know
but
exactly what you're doing.
I would have had to turn off every inch of power in my home because I don't know what goes to what.
Oh, true.
And I just didn't. I just was like, you know what? We're going to wait for Jordan to get
Better
back
safe
for
than
that
sorry.
One. Yeah.
And then we have the
go.
one and only who knows how to wire outlets. He's building his own house down in Mississippi. Dwayne. How we doing, Dwayne?
Good morning. Good morning.
Dwayne, your hair's getting long.
It is. It is. Unfortunately, it's a little thin on the top. So
I did not say that. That is not my intentions. But you're a man that cuts his own hair, so I figure you know what you're doing. I hadn't had a chance to really look at you in your face until that. That was the first time I've seen you, and I was just like,
you look good, Dwayne.
Your hair's looking long, and you got the right color on, purple.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
I want to see Dwayne.
Color.
I want to see Dwayne grow his hair out.
Like
would it be like?
Yeah, you and him both.
Would it be
I don't
curly?
have the patience. Oh, for sure, it'd be curly. Yeah. There's pictures of my dad in high school, and he has a big fro.
Yeah.
So no product. It's just natural.
You should do it.
I just don't have the patience for it. I just don't have the patience. It gets hot. And it's I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I wouldn't either, but especially living in Mississippi, maybe in Minnesota.
you guys, bunch of wieners.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Using Lily's former name. like long hair, it's like, oh, too hot, I can't do it. When so many females
when
do it.
women
So that
walk
just said,
around with long hair, but we can put it up.
Absolutely.
So can
But it's still
guys,
a lot
man.
of hair on our head.
We've actually come a long way, and we start calling them man buns. They're not ponytails. They're man buns. And so you can pull them up. But it does take a while to get there.
I couldn't pull off a man bun.
I can't
Couldn't pull off a man bun.
You don't even know. Okay, this week, my project in Photoshop is to...
Regardless if I could.
Sorry, Scott. Well, you can't do that this week.
No.
That's a funny idea, though.
No, I'm doing it.
Give him a man bun.
Yeah, I'm going to put a man bun on Dwayne. Next week, we'll have it for everybody's enjoyment. Thanks for being in the chat today. Great topic today, which is, it sounds so soft. Yeah, it is meant to be something that the application of this is extremely difficult, way harder than men having long hair. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't even know what Lily titled. The Secret for Better Relationships. Okay, that's the title. But the real deal is in this, is this an all skate for everybody, meaning everybody gets to play in this category? Anybody in the chat, you're super competitive? Would you label yourself competitive?
Yes.
Lily, you're competitive?
Yes, but I have a story to share.
Hold on, wait. We've come a long way.
Yeah, I'm competitive.
Because you used to say, no, you're not.
Yeah, because I didn't like what it brought out in other people.
But it brings it out in you.
So
I see it all the time.
Seeing other people get competitive, I'm like, if I look like that, I don't want to be like that.
Okay, so she's competitive. We'll come back to your story. I'm sure it's a good one. Joey, are you competitive?
Yeah, in certain situations.
What? This is not a get like.
You are.
You're either in or out.
Yeah, in things that I'm competitive. There's things I'm competitive in. There's things I just don't care about.
It does. You tell me it's a company.
That's how he is.
Now it is hard, to be honest. As growing in my relationship with Jesus, it's like I'm more of a tension to be competitive.
What? Attention?
Yeah. Like when I was
You wanna
competitive
get
in
attention?
sports, I was like, I wanted to beat that person.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how
Like,
I
or
was.
he's better than me. I'm gonna show him I'm better than him.
Let's go. I love
Like
that.
I
love that.
I to like prove myself, kind of. Like,
Yeah,
I don't. Is that,
see, I think that's a misconception of being a follower of Jesus, that cannot exist. I think
Yeah,
both
I-
can be there.
You need to learn how to do it in love.
yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I
so
was like,
if
screw you,
okay,
dude.
Yeah, because then there's the problem. If you can't do it in love, then it's better to back up.
Well, it's not like I don't. It's not like I don't love.
Yeah,
but
if
in
you're-
the competitive situation, it's like I don't know.
Okay, Dwayne, let's hear from you. Would you consider yourself a competitive guy?
Yeah, put a board game, put a card game in front of me, like dominate.
Dominate. See,
Yeah, he is competitive. I love that.
okay, I would say I'm not.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever. Biggest
You're-
lie
Whatever.
I've heard. Biggest lie I've heard. In
Okay,
2004,
I am-
2004.
I am unhealthy.
Unhealthily competitive.
Yeah, for sure. Everything. If it turns into a competition, I gotta win. It
Well,
doesn't
you
matter.
Make it a competition.
Oh yeah, everything's a competition. It doesn't matter. If somebody says that's the short way, I'll make sure it's the long way. I'll make it the short way. I'll figure it out. I'll go faster, whatever it is. Last night we just started playing a game around after the dinner table. I don't even know what it's called, but you stand shoulder or you just stand really facing each other and you're trying to knock each other off balance. We played that for a solid hour as a family.
that's fun.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I was undefeated.
I do still want to beat you in a race, though.
What race?
Yeah, we haven't done
what kind
a
of race?
foot race.
Our foot race.
A foot race. Bring it on, buddy.
We've got to do that.
Bring it on.
Oh my gosh.
Except for the fact that I feel like I'm getting slower in my sprinting because I'm
Well, you haven't
working all
been
this
sprinting.
slow
yeah.
twitch muscle
Oh,
fibers.
blah,
not,
blah, 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 blah.
so
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna blame it on
I mean,
marathon training if
How
I
much
lose.
are you sprinting right now?
All the time. I have 8 children. Keeping up with them all the time. Lily, what's your competitive
Okay,
story?
it's not me. It's not
Oh.
me. But so Jordan's out of town. He's doing some military training, and I talked to him yesterday, and he's telling me about how they had to do. There's about 10 people, 9 men and 1 woman that are doing this training, and he had to do this course where they're like carrying these 3-foot upright things, and they have to get them to another destination about 100 yards apart, and they have to do a bunch of them. And then he's like, so we made it into a race, and not gonna brag, but your husband won. and he told me he's super competitive. He told me, I was like, so were the other people like pretty competitive? And he was like, no, actually. And I was like, the people you're training with in the Army aren't competitive? And so it's kind of surprising, but it was fun to hear. That
No,
he
I do
won.
think we have a nationally, I can't speak. Oh, no, I'm going to go globally. I'm going to say we do have an issue with competition because people are trying to bring down competition as if it's a horrible thing to have. I think there's only one area
But
in your
it's
life competition
not.
is bad, but if I can't win, why play? Because competition makes you better, makes everybody
People
around you
don't
better.
like losing.
Well, I think we got to get accustomed to that because there's only one winner and then there's a bunch of losers.
Wait, what did Lily say?
It's because
People
people
don't
don't
like
like the
losing.
losing.
People don't like losing.
People
Yeah,
can't
you
handle
people need
losing
to learn how to
well.
lose.
Right.
Yes, learn to lose. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good song.
I
gotta
can't-
listen to
I
that
don't even know the
later.
name of the song. I don't even know the
Just
song.
reminded me of a song.
But learning to lose better, right? But I don't want to lose.
Right.
But I understand when I show up to a race or an event that there's only going to be one winner.
Yes, 100%.
So I want to be. I mean, when I was racing competitively in the Ironman circuit, I knew I wasn't going to beat the pros. However, my aim was towards them. How close can I get to them? But then it was, how can I beat those around me of my age group? How can I get ranked? And so you just make these levels. It wasn't about, oh, I can't be as the fastest. It's like, no, how good can I be? How much in me is there available to do great? Just people don't want to do the effort and the work to find that out, and they don't like losing, so they don't compete. I think a human nature is to be competitive. But what we don't like, a lot of people like less, or no, they don't like to lose more than they like to win, so they don't compete at all because they don't like the feeling of losing. I mean, we have these summer camps that we do, and we have one winning team. and we have one MVP from each team, and we give pizza to the winning team while the other team watches.
Yeah. Watches them eat their pizza.
You know how many emails I get from parents that don't like that? Like, I'm going to change it. It's like, no. We're teaching young people to win appropriately and to lose appropriately.
I mean, think about the Super Bowl and, like, the NBA championships and all the things. Like, the amount of cheering and celebration that the winning team gets, like confetti and all the things, and everyone else just watches.
Right. You got to just...
They deserved it.
But now, as much as we're all competitive... And I've seen it in everybody. I know Dwayne's a Garmin. How would I say it? I almost Garmin peeper, but that doesn't. But Garmin is the.
It's his social media.
It's our watches that track heart rates and miles. And sometimes I'll have a run where I'm super tired and my heart rate will be high, and Dwayne will just kind of give a little poke the bear. Ooh, heart rate a little high on that run. Like, he's watching to see what's going on.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
That's why I
Again,
haven't added
it's all
him.
about. I'll never. Well, I say never. I'm gonna beat Scott eventually. He may be, up there in years, many years from now. But it's like, how close can I get to beating him?
Yeah, it's when you have, I have a lot of women that I compete against in CrossFit that are older than me, and I'm just like, you keep going, girl. Like, I'm not going to catch up to you. But I try.
Yeah, I don't turn it off. Whatever it is, a competition. Now, here's what happened last night in this. Is there a name for this game I'm talking about? Dwayne, do you know the game I'm talking about where you stand like this and you're hitting hands? You can only hit hands?
I know the game. I don't know
Okay.
if there's a name for it or not.
Okay, great. As long as everybody's tracking with me. We're playing this game, and I'm having a track record of undefeated all through the house. Legend steps up. He's the 16-year-old of the house. He's trained to be the next man in the house, so he wants to come beat his chest a little bit. I'm going to beat Dad. So he comes in, and it's getting competitive. The pushing is a little bit harder, and he's getting beat. And all of a sudden, in his angst, he doesn't push my hands. He pushes my chest. So now I'm ready for it, and the couch is behind me and the chair's behind me. So he hits me, and I fly backwards. Now my Spider-Man reflex is, I avoid all the obstacles, but it could have been bad.
Was it one of those moments where you just stare at each other?
Wait,
like,
are you not supposed to hit your chest?
No, you can only hit the hands.
hands?
Oh.
And you gotta, if you get thrown off balance, it's a point. If you
Okay.
take a step back, right? You can sit there and wobble, but if your feet move.
So are you like locked hands?
No,
and
no,
you
just-
push each other?
And you're just pushing. Like,
Yeah, you just gotta hit each other's hand, and then the next person goes. Your idea is to keep your balance.
balanced.
Interesting.
Now he's back in the corner. He's going, Dad's stretching the story a little bit. He'd like to have a microphone because he's like, I was trying
I'm
to
surprised he didn't say he fell off the couch and fell over it. and
No, but
then
that's what I was
fell
trying to
down the
teach
hill
you because I
outside.
came back as I gained composure, not expecting him to do that. I was like, whoa, bro. That if you do that to one of your friends or somebody else that they don't know there's a couch back there, they could seriously get hurt or a chair. I go, no, the game was hands. But you could sense a little frustration in the 16-year-old that he couldn't beat Dad yet. Now, maybe there will be a day.
Oh, yeah. Elizabeth says, the day is coming, Scott, when Legend will beat you.
And when that day
You
happens,
said it, there will be a day.
when that day happens, I'll probably be in a casket and he'll be burying me. So I'm just saying, that's how competitive we are around
Oh,
here.
my gosh. All right.
And Legends in the room, everyone. But everything's competitive in our house. Last night, Revolution, who is 5 years old, and Courage, they were on opposite corners of the dinner table, and I just was watching it. They would put their hands in the air and one carrot in their hand, and then they would drop their hands. They had to eat the carrot as fast as possible. Now I stopped that because I was like, that's dangerous. Somebody could choke. I'm not looking to do behind. But they were making eating carrots a race at the
Love
dinner
it.
table, and I was like,
So
that's
fun.
so great. We are competitive.
Yes.
Now, here's the problem with competition. The only area in your life that's bad is where, Joey? Where is it bad to be?
in your relationship.
competitive
in
to
your
win.
relationship.
Yeah, that's it, man. Way to nail
Good
it.
job, Joe. I saw the notes, so.
But that's the problem is we're all super competitive. We don't want to win and lose in games, so a lot of us choose not to play those. But when it comes to relationships, we don't turn that off. We actually ramp it up and we want to win. And my question is, when we're competitive in relationships and we want to win, what do you win?
Yeah.
What does the winner get? A night on the couch?
Nothing.
Oh, exactly, but you want to win. I
Someone
want to
that's
win.
frustrated,
Is there a
someone else
best of
that's
three?
frustrated.
Have you ever gone to Michaela Hey, all right, Michaela, you took that one argument. Let's do it again. Let's see if I get it this time. Best of 3.
No.
No, but we are super competitive. We want to win the argument. Right, Dwayne? Isn't that how it happens inside relationships? We think it's a good thing to win the argument. Well, I won that one.
Yeah, we like to be right. We like to be right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's us now taking competition in an unhealthy way into relationships. I think compete for the promotion. Compete in chess. Compete in carrot eating if that's a safe thing for you to, just do it. Compete to win. But when inside relationships, it's not the same way of competition. And it's dangerous if you're playing in relationships that you want to win. Because an argument inside a relationship and you're being called the winner, the question really is, and you need to ask yourself, what did you just win? Somebody not talking to you? How about when your kids are older? Great, you won the argument with your kid. Now your daughter doesn't want anything to do with you for the next decade. Or your dad doesn't want anything to do with you because you were so disrespectful, right? You won what? You won the argument, but what did you ultimately win? Yet we will constantly do this. And we're going to go to a song here, and we're going to come back and give you 5 games we play in relationships that we try to win. 5, maybe even more, areas where we are highly competitive in relationships. And we try to win inside the relationships, and you win what on the other side? And you're going to know these, and we're all going to be like, I've played those games, and I've won those games, and the result has been not good. And some of them are so gross that you're like, I can't believe now that you're speaking about it, I got to stop playing that game inside my relationship. But even though I want to win, I cannot do that. I got to stop. So we're going to give you those right after this video here, which is Glorious Day. It's a beautiful day here in Minnesota after a big old storm, and despite the stuff we walk through, we always got to give honor to God and go, hey, you know what? Despite my circumstances, it's still a glorious day. And so we're going to do that song, and then we're going to come back and give you the highly competitive games we play inside a relationship, and I think we're all going to identify we got to stop trying to win in those areas. And then we're going to come in and tell you how to win, and it's, some of you already know, but it's the most difficult game to play to win. Trust me. You don't want to miss this. Enjoy the song. We'll be right back.
I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my turn till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my turn till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. The old made new. Jesus, when I met you, you called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the My sin was heavy, the chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, but you called me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you are my healing. Your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you called my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day.
One of my favorite lines is where it's like, he just ran out of that grave. That's such a good reminder of that Jesus didn't stay dead. He ran out of the grave. You going through something. That's the reminder that we can pull from the life of Jesus. Okay, remember I asked, what happens when you win in the games we play inside relationships? When we make relationships competitive in the way of I'm going to win, you win nothing. You win a night on the couch. It's just a mess. Here is the goal in relationships. Here, I wrote it in my notes. How do you know, or what is a win in relationships? This is how I wrote it. What is the win in relationships? A mutually satisfying, mutually enjoyable relationship where there is not an individual win. If an individual win creeps into a relationship, it is no longer a healthy relationship. It is a one-sided relationship. Good relationships, successful marriages, mom and dad relationship with their kids and so on, and coworkers. It is a mutually satisfying, mutually enjoyable relationship that there is not an individual win. We could just stop there and just go home and look at all our relationships and go, oh boy. Because there's just times and seasons in our life where I'm going to win in this relationship. I'm going to win my boss over on my opinion. I get it. There's a tension to be managed in this. But that's the target. And Jesus teaches it as he walks on this earth. He tries to teach us, listen, it's about a relationship, successful relationships, mutually satisfying and equally mutually enjoyable. There is not an individual win. Okay, so here are a few of the competitions we play in relationships. First one is the change game. You can, if you're taking notes or whatever, you can write it down, I guess. The change game. This is trying to change someone without them knowing that you're trying to change them because you think they need to change. They need to be faster. They need to be better at laundry. They need to get up on time. They need to be more fit. They need to be more healthy. They need to be less concerned about health. And so without them knowing it, I'm going to do these things. And then you are trying to change them. Well, after all, you probably married them because you thought, well, they needed some change. The change game. The next one is the guessing game. Boy, have I seen this one. This is probably my most frustrating in relationship. These aren't just marriage games we play or competitions. These are relationship competitions we play. They're super unhealthy. The guessing game. You can tell, obviously, something's wrong with that individual. And you go, what's wrong? And they say nothing. I just want to poke that individual in the eye every time.
That's probably the one I do the most.
Get over here right now. Let me poke you in the eye. But that's the game we play. I'm going to play this game. You got to figure it out. But I'm going to mope around. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk for real long. And here's the worst part about it. You want to frustrate that individual in that game that they're playing? Don't play it. Don't ask them. Like Joey, when you do that, Michaela should never even ask you. Just to let you go on about your moping business.
Yeah.
But we all play it, Joey. Thank you for being very transparent. But the guessing game, I mean, maybe you're the change game person. You're trying to change an individual without them knowing that you're trying to change them. But I'm not going to tell you what's wrong. You have to figure it out. again, what does love require? You try to figure that out. But that is the individual playing the game. That's gross. And they're trying to win. They consider it a win in the competitive environment in that relationship if you stop what you're doing and try to figure out what's wrong. And usually when you boil it all down, they're not even upset about the thing you thought they were upset about. It's some obscure thing. I didn't get enough sleep last night. But what you said really offended me. How about the guilt game? Ever done this marriage? You ever said something like this? So I guess you're just going to leave that there then. I guess you want me to do the dishes. Oh, I guess you want me to pick up after you. It's the guilt game. You're making them feel guilty for what they just did without saying, hey, do you think you could, pick up your mess? We're not asking them to do. We're making them feel guilty, and then they respond out of guilt what they're to do. You know that? Listen, I wrote it like this. You know that? People don't talk to me like that at work. That's the guilt game. Like, hey, outside of this environment, I'm a somebody. Well, I come home and you talk to me, nobody at work talks to me like, so then you're making them feel guilty instead of being a great human and just going, hey, I don't enjoy it when you speak to me like that. How about the blame game? We try to win. These are games we're trying to win. Now, you don't ever say, hey, honey, let's play the blame game real quick. You don't call these games by name. No way, that'd be crazy. Joey doesn't go, and I'm only using Joey as an example because he said he's done that one before, the guessing game. He doesn't go, all right, Michaela. You have 3 choices to know why I'm silent. The guessing game. If you get it right, I'll talk to you some more. If you don't, I'll just stay silent some more. And she's probably going to go, well, I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to be peace and quiet for a while. I don't know. The blame game. Nothing is my fault. That's how it starts. I'm upset. I'm only upset because you left the cabinet doors open. If you would change, then I would be able to change. I can't change because my wife won't change. It's their fault. I don't have a good environment for the change I want to do. I want to eat healthy, but we have all this junk food in the house. The best is when married couples always go, no, I want to get fit, but my spouse doesn't want to, so it's really hard. They're like, what? Oh, I want to eat healthy, but my wife keeps buying junk food. Yeah. No, that's the blame game. And you're winning when you say it's their fault. Now this is next level. This is what's that for?
Oh no, I'm just trying to think in my life of which ones I do.
Okay, Dwayne, are you thinking like that as I go through these? Are you going, which one?
Absolutely.
Now the trick is for you to sit there, for all of us that we're on camera, we're all married, and so is to not pick out what our spouse does to us.
I'm thinking about myself.
Yeah, that's good. You're winning. That's winning. But when you're going she does or he does, that's failing at this game because that's the blame game. That's the blame game. Last week, Dwayne, in the live location here in Minnesota, I said when we were talking about different things, now listen, I'm going to go through a list of things, and you can't pick people in the room, and it's all for you. You got to think about what is it for you. And I was very straightforward. You know how many people came up to me, oh, man, I thought of this individual, and you were saying that. I was like, you missed the point. That's it, right? Like, it's like that's so easy to do, and we all do it. And we don't want to own our messes, so the blame game is so easy to play. You don't even think about it anymore because it's just all these things I'm talking about, these are just naturally intuitive to a human being. You don't even practice this. You don't even train for this. Little kids know the blame game. They know the guilt game, the guessing game, the change game, right?
And I think we deceive ourselves. It's like, looking at the blame game, it's like, well, I only did that because of this, and it's like, okay, like not taking ownership of my actions and all that. So, the blame game, it's like we trick ourselves.
Yeah,
we start blaming. Yeah.
Or you blame your spouse that they're not doing something, so you can't do something.
Right. I mean, there's a list
all the time.
Yeah, I can't get to. Let's go to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can't help this person, or I can't go and do what I want to do, or I want to go work out because you can't handle this situation. Or,
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the truth of it in marriage. What happens is we don't want to go do those things. We just use our spouse as the scapegoat.
That's 100% true.
Oh, man, I see that all the time. Because when you talk to somebody and they're really fully engaged on like, oh, I want to go fishing, hunting. Sure, I'll help you put a new roof on. Sure, I'll help you remove a tree from your yard. Sure, I'm in it. People, when they're in it, they're just doing it. When you run into it, well, let me talk to my spouse. It's like, wait. That's a good way to get out of what you're. Let me go blame it on my spouse. I can't do that. My spouse doesn't want me to do that. I can't volunteer because my spouse can't. And it's like, wait a second. That's again blame game. Now we're gonna ratchet the blame game up to a whole nother level. This is like passive aggressive blame game. This allows you to apologize, which makes you look really good. I wrote in my notes, but you're apologizing in a way that actually blames them. And I watch my kids do this. I am so sorry that I smacked you across the face. But you spit on my plate, and so I did it, right? I'm sorry, but it's really your fault. I'm blaming what I did on you. And it's not an apology anymore. It's gross, actually. It's passive-aggressive. It's sticking it to them. Apology should be, I'm sorry. What can I do to make it up to you? And that's it. And then stay quiet. Just try that. Adults don't apologize enough. We do not apologize enough. We do not own our messes enough. We are so quick to defend what we did and blame everybody. But if we would just stop that, oh boy, it'd be good. And that was next level. Blame game is passive aggressive. How about this? Competition. We got two more.
Comparison?
Oh, comparison. Sorry. Comparison. This is professional competition. Okay, this is leveling it up. Did you notice the way he or she did that? That the way you're doing it isn't very good? Well, when I was over at my friend's house, the way they did the dishes, they worked together. Did you notice that? Lily's nodding her head. Why are you nodding your head?
Well, I see the temptation to do that.
Yeah, but again, this is to win your point. Right? These are to win the competition in the relationship. We're leveraging these competition moments to try to win the argument, win our point that, hey, you're not doing it. And then the last one is a shame game. If my dad, if my mom, if my sister, my coworker was here, they'd be able to fix that. They'd be able to do that to motivate somebody to stop watching TV to do something. So now all of a sudden it's the shame game. You're not good enough for the situation. You don't have the abilities to do it. And those are just a list of a few of the competitions we play in relationships. And if you ultimately win that, what are you winning? Nothing but a mess. Nothing but a big, big mess. So we kicked off last week this fruit of the Spirit talk, which is in Galatians chapter 5. It lists 9 different things that as a follower of Jesus, we should begin to produce in our life. 9 things. Now, don't get hyper-focused on, I got to take care of all 9 of these. It's like spinning a plate. It gets really hard to do. It's picking one a week. We're going to go through each week, each of the fruit of the Spirit. We're going to read it really quick as a refresher. We're going to start at the end of chapter 5, verse 25, because this is, I just think it's the point. If you're a follower of Jesus, then this is what Paul writes in Galatians 5:25. Since we live by the Spirit, let's keep in step with the Spirit. Meaning, if Jesus is Lord and Savior is He forgave you of your sin. He's your Messiah. It's in a relationship. And the next part is Lord. Is He leading your life? Is He leading you in what you do with your finances? Is He leading you with what you do with your family and your kids? Is He the Lord of your... Can you answer that in your mind going, yes, He's the Lord of my life? And if He is, then these 9 things would start to grow in your life because you're being led by Him. Let's list it. We're going to go back to verse 22 of Galatians 5. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against this, there's no law. And Paul's saying there, hey, you can max this mess out. Meaning there's no like you arrived, you got 100%. There's no 100%. It just keeps going and going and going your whole life. It's like, man, 2 years ago, I thought I really nailed patience, and now all of a sudden I'm back at having to learn patience again. It's because you can max these things out. There's no level of like, ooh, you've accomplished it. Well done. Now move on to the next one. And so each week we're going to pick a new one. I thought about skipping the first one, love, because it's like, isn't that self-explanatory? Just love your neighbor as yourself. That's
Did
what
you
Jesus...
really think about skipping it?
I did.
And you felt like justified, not justified's a weird word, but you felt like that wouldn't be too bad.
What, to talk about it?
To not talk about it.
Yeah, because I just felt like I could just say, hey, Jesus is pretty clear. He's spending his entire life about this, pretty much saying, hey, love your neighbor as yourself. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
But then I was like, man, love is complicated. And I know we got movies and stuff that talk about it, but that's romantic love they're talking about. I'm talking about love this way is complicated. Because today I'm going to talk about a piece, just a little bit of the love that I think our culture totally sucks at. Mm-hmm. And that's really what happened this week. I was just watching something, having a conversation with people, watching marriages, like, man, we suck as humans at this. Mm-hmm. We know how to do this, but we choose not to do it because it's difficult and it makes us feel less than.
Well, I think we're all going to be glad you didn't skip it.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. So here, it's Paul is the author. Paul is the author of Galatians. Paul is the author of what we're going to go into the book of Romans, a book that is filled, packed with so many good things. As theologians over the decades, hundreds of years, it says the most important book of the Bible and chapter is Romans chapter 8. Like, we've got our kids trying to memorize it. They didn't get it done by the end of school year. They'll pick it up again. Why? Because you should read it and you should memorize it. This is packed full of juicy, good stuff. And so Paul dictates the book of Romans, so he doesn't handwrite it. Paul's getting up there in years. And so he's walking around and talking to an individual. And how do we know this? Is towards the end of Romans, the author introduces himself. Like, so that's an interesting thing, and I'm not going to... sometimes I don't totally give you all the information in hopes that I compel you enough to go Google, well, who wrote the book of... or who authored Romans? If he dictated, who's the ghostwriter? Good homework for you to do. We should pick up our Bible. So he dictates the book of Romans. The Roman Empire, I don't think I need to say this, but maybe you don't pay attention to history. The Roman Empire of this day and age was the highest level of competition you could be a part of. It was about being the best of the best in everything, in architect, in politics, in the army, and you walk into cities and it needed to be the best of the best. You as a human being needed to conduct yourself in a way of massive respect and astute. And so it was one of the most competitive places of its time. And so Paul's writing to a group of people that, I just think when we're going to read here in a second in Romans chapter 12, verse 10, he starts out a statement and it's like, wow, that seems pretty soft to a competitive nation. I got to rewrite that. Because I think that's the issue. When you come to love, it sounds so... I think there's guys that listen to, oh, you want to be a follower of Jesus? He's a soft guy. He's really like all about just love and peace and he is. I'm not going to rewrite all of that. But so we think there's this, it's just so soft. I want the God of the Old Testament where he just like would laser people. And he didn't do that, but he just taking people out left and right. Oh, you're wrong? Boom. Take him out, all right? And so men struggle with Jesus because he's like this soft guy. When you really start reading about it, I think Jesus figured out how to say things that are harsh with love so it doesn't come across as harsh. We could learn some things, especially dads in parenting, figuring out how to say harsh things, but where they know that you still love them. It is something to learn. Paul had never been to Rome. He had a very strong desire to get to Rome, but he learns of this church in the Rome Empire because some Jewish people went there and started it, and he starts writing these letters to them because he wanted to help them in discipling that church. I wrote this. Paul had heard of the church in Rome, but had not yet visited, nor had any of the apostles. Eventually, the church had been started by Jews who had come to faith during the Pentecost. They had spread the gospel when they returned to Rome, and the church began to grow. Paul deeply wanted to visit the church and to go to Rome to minister to Spain and beyond, pushing the good news to the ends of the earth. That's what his desire. He knew he needed to get to the Roman Empire, and from there, he could really spread the gospel. That was his heart. The book of Romans is somewhat of a letter of introduction. Paul was intelligent, articulate, and committed to his calling. He presented the case for the gospel clearly for rightly in his letters to the believers in Rome, hoping that they would be his partners in sending the good news to Spain and beyond. It was a strategic move for himself to spread the good news. Okay, so there's some of that background history of the book of Romans. So let's go to Romans chapter 12, verse 10. Here's what he says, because we're talking about love. So we got to figure out how are we going to teach love today as one of the fruit of the Spirit. Here's what he says in Romans chapter 12, verse 10. Be devoted to one another in love. That just sounds so soft, right? And then you can see on your screen, honor another above yourself, which sounds okay, but still in English sounds a little bit soft. Because when we translate words from Greek, it's hard because their words in Greek are so cool that they mean, like they have one word that means one thing, whereas we have one word that means like 6 things. And you got to figure out what it is. It's very complicated. And so when he writes this, he starts out, remember, he's dictating this. I'm picturing this, an older man, Paul, walking around, talking, all right, I want them to learn about love. Be devoted to one another in love. Okay, so what is devoted to? Without looking at my notes, Dwayne, unless you already did that. Did you already look at my note? Okay. If it's a call to action, be devoted to, what's being devoted to? How do we get devoted to one another? What is that word? Be devoted.
I think your focus being on that person's well-being and preferences and and putting ourselves second.
Okay, which sounds so right. And it's probably a version of it. But it's simple this. I just looked it up because I was like, devoted. It sounds like that's how I'd have answered it too. So obviously I get a little looking around, studying it. The word devoted means to be loyal. Loyal. No matter what an individual does, be loyal to them. Another human being, they vote different, they have a different opinion, especially in the United States. What happened yesterday at Trump's rally, and you got this opinion, that opinion, and it's only going to make things more hostile. He's saying, hold on, no, pause out. No matter how people land on a topic, no matter how they parent, no matter how they do their weekends, no matter how, he's saying be loyal to one another. Why? Because of love. Inside love is to be loyal, not I'm with you until you do something I don't like. And I get that all the time. As a pastor, people have expectations for me. Man, when I first got my tattoos as I was 23-year-old youth pastor, there were so many parents that were like, we're not going to bring our kids to this student ministry anymore because you got tattoos. So when you read this, they were not devoted in love. It was, we're with you until you do something I ain't liking. Am I right? We see that all the time, don't we, Dwayne? In culture all over the place. It isn't just pastor thing. I've just experienced it a lot. Right?
Yeah, for sure. As long as you're doing what I want you to do, then you have my support.
Right.
When you don't, then it's like, okay, no, we got to step back.
Right. And we're not even talking about moral things here. We're talking about just physical things. So Paul is trying to teach all of us, okay, be loyal to one another in love. It's baked into being the fruit of the Spirit of love should be I'm loyal to a human being. Why? Because we are created in God's image. Nothing more. We've complicated it since then. Well, it's been weaponized to be loyal to people. I will give you my loyalty if you do this for me. So Paul's trying to teach something that Jesus was teaching. He's trying to say, be devoted, be loyal to one another in love. And then he says, honor one another above yourself. And you're like, okay, that sounds really tough. Because sometimes I want to poke people in the eye. I want to punch people. I want to yell at people. I want to cuss them out. I want to tell them I don't like what they're doing. So let's break down that next part. Honor one another above yourself. In Greek, giving honor is instead of where we say honor one another, it's give honor. To give is to freely give. No strings. No, you do. It's just I'm giving it away for free. Great thing about one another in Greek, it's one another. That's not very complicated. Going before. So give honor one another going before. That's how you would read it in Greek. which makes no sense in English, right? That's why it's wrote the way it is. Because if you and I read that, we'd go, what? Give honor one another going before. But it's very simple at that point. It's like, wait, going before. Meaning, be the first. I wrote it like this. Instead of going first, I want you to go first to put another first. Maybe that's still, I want you to be the very first to put another person first. I want you to honor one another first. I want you to be the first one to give honor. I want you to be the first one to be loyal. I don't want you to wait for them to do something and then be loyal to them. I don't want you to wait for your spouse to do something and then you're going to do something. No. I want you, it's a race. It's a different competition. I want you to be the first to give honor. Yeah, but we all wait for that. We wait for someone to honor me. We want to win this competition of how quickly we can show honor to another person before they show honor to you and make it a game. Like, okay, I'm going to figure out how to honor them before they honor me. And all of a sudden, I got a new competition. Right? That's how Paul's writing this. He's like, no, in a competitive culture, I'm trying to tell you, be first to honor. Beat them. A stranger, honor them first. Someone that votes against you. Because again, in the Roman Empire, a very political environment, a lot of like, man, I mean, talk about, I don't like the way you vote, a sword comes out kind of situation, very hostile environment. And he's trying to say, no, honor those people. Now, we all got kinds of issues with this. And we'll all kind of draw our own lines in the sand. I'm just telling you, if you aren't honoring everybody, you're doing it wrong. You don't have the fruit of the Spirit of love growing very well in your life. So then you're going to ask yourself probably, well, what does this mean? Here's what all this means. What Paul's trying to teach. He's saying this. You have a choice, and I want you to choose to treat other people around you as if they deserve more honor than you do. And somebody's going, well, you don't understand. I have gone to school. I've earned my position. No. You honor them as if they deserve more honor than you. This is in your home. This is at work. These are strangers, subway, buses. Wherever you're at, you are to honor. It's first one to honor. And here's the thing. Somebody's already going, well, I don't really know how to honor somebody. You do. You're just saying that as a cop-out. We all know how to honor. This, you don't even train yourself to do this. It is like, it's just somewhere in human nature, we know how to do this honor thing. And I'm going to tell you how in a second and what it looks like. But let's go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Because you're like, oh, okay, how do I honor? What does this look like? Here's what he's going to try to break it down in another book. Philippians 2, verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others around or above yourself. Not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. But I sit there, I know what I'm thinking and I want. And so if somebody's going, oh, wait, you want to, inside a home, wait, you want to buy that. If you buy that, I can't get this. So now I got to figure out a manipulated situation so we have money to do this. Oh, guess what? You just didn't honor. You just didn't love. But what if I never get what I want? You're missing the whole picture. When all those other things start eroding and you start asking all these other questions, it's showing you have other areas in your life. Hey, at the end of the day, it's showing you're a mess, which is cool because I'm a mess. Do nothing out of selfish ambition. Just start there. Inside a relationship, nothing that has anything with your advantage in it. Okay, so how do you honor? Here's a question. Have you ever met anyone or someone that's more important than you? Lily, have you ever met any famous people?
Yeah.
Been on an airplane with somebody real famous?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, I've been on an airplane with Tom Brady, but I didn't care about that. And I was also young.
But when you said you didn't care, were you like, did you go up to him and go, hey, Tommy boy, let me teach you how to throw a football?
No.
What'd you do?
Well, I didn't do anything. I didn't. This isn't a good example.
No, it is. I'm trying to. What you
You're
said you didn't
thinking
care.
of this one?
No, I did. Okay. I'm just saying, but you didn't care. But you didn't go up and you weren't disrespectful. I'm assuming.
No.
Right?
No one that I've met famous. No.
But okay.
Right.
So even as a little kid that you're not into football, you knew it was Tom Brady. You're like, oh, that guy's so important. You didn't walk up to him and go, hey, Let me teach you a few things.
No.
This is called a football.
No.
Okay. Okay, then who else have you met that's famous?
Sean Kingston.
Okay. A musician.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I haven't met that many people. There's this person that I follow right now I've met, and I just love her, and she's famous to me. So her name's Lisa Harper.
Okay. Joey, how about you? Anybody famous you've ever met? Or more important than you, I guess I would say? Okay, that's a no. Like, you should know.
Football players?
Come on, you've never met?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're more
Like
yeah.
who?
Joe Haig, Carson Wentz.
That's so cool. But did you feel what?
Okay, so Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him. Pretty good quarterback. Took his team his rookie year to a Super Bowl. Obviously, he was injured, but he was a big component of that. You call him up and say, "Hey, man, that wasn't a good throw."
No.
Why?
Because I respect him.
Oh, okay. Dwayne, how about you? You ever meet anybody famous that you're like, oh, that person's more than me for sure?
Yep. 1 second.
Andy knows,
Technology.
Technology going on a tilt-a-world.
Yep. Yeah, like I've been kind of in a meeting, not a meeting, but just with Urban Meyer, just kind of sitting around talking with Urban Meyer.
Okay. And did you give him coaching tips? Hey, if you run this defense, you'll do much better. I see that you have a weak spot. Did you do that?
No, definitely not.
Right. The answer to these is like, if any of us said yes, yeah, I sat him down. Like, I met Lance Armstrong. I got to race with him for a while. I know you have your opinion on Lance Armstrong, but I got to meet him. Here's a picture of me on my bike with him. I may or may not have photoshopped me next to him that close because I could have been maybe several miles away. But I got to race on his team. I got to do dinners with him. I got to have a lot of conversations with him. I never went up to him at that point. He was kind of in that controversial space of like, did he dope? Did he not? I did not walk up to him when I first met Lance Armstrong and go, bro, did you do it? I think you did it. I didn't. I was respectful. I gave space. I only when I got to sit next to him at dinner, I chatted about him. I talked more about him than me. I asked him questions because that's what you just do intuitively to honor. When people get around other famous people and they start bombarding them with disrespect, people are going, well, that's not honoring. We know how to do what he's saying to do. It's like when you come around somebody that's famous in your world and you really have respect for, you don't come in there and tell them how to do what they're doing. You listen and learn from them. That's how we need to be treating everyone, with that kind of respect. So I know you know how to do it. It's just difficult. Philippians 3, or chapter 2, verse 3 through 8, continue on what we're reading. In your relationships with one another, have the same mindset of Christ Jesus, who, being in the very nature God, did not consider equal with God something to be used to win or to use to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made into a human likeness. There's the example. That's the example that Jesus could have said, I am my Father's son. Do you not know? And then zap everybody, right? He could have done all kinds of wild things, but he doesn't. He chose to be a servant. This is the win, everyone, inside. This is what love looks like inside of relationships, is the competition is to be first, to honor. It's to be first, to be second is how I've said it in other teachings. Your race is to be, no, you go first. You go first. You go one anothering all day. But we ain't doing that. Inside marriage, I've been married for 23 years. I'd like to say I get this right every year. I don't. I've missed it every day probably. I for sure missed it every day. There's just moments where I just am not paying attention. I'm not into whatever's going on. And all of a sudden, I don't honor people in the home. Yeah, because, you know what? I want to be honored. It feels good when people honor you. You just can't let it go to your head. You can't use it. So, in conclusion, this is the statement. Now you know the honor game. So go play. The rules are simple. It's for anyone 5 years old and older. It's more fun where more people play, but it can be played with 2 people. But the more you have play, the more fun it is. When you're trying to out-honor each other, you're trying to look for those moments to really love them. This is the part of love we don't talk about because we don't, oh, that person doesn't deserve my honor. I didn't read anything about deserving. I did not read anything today about if they do this, this, and this, then honor. It's just simply honor a human being. And we have it eroding everywhere. You know, it's interesting in this game of the honor game. You know, one quick way for us to continue to watch the erosion of this honor, the love part of honor, or honor that's baked into love, is when we change names for groups of people. Here, all the things that were happening in Africa and still are continuing, but when it was about 10 years ago, it was a really hot thing. Tribes were killing tribes. You ever catch on that they started calling them different kinds of names? Like derogatory terms, no longer as humans, but just terms that were gross. That's how they identified them. You know what happens when we start labeling another group of people by a label? It makes it easier to not love them. It makes it easier to not honor them. So if you have a group of people in your mind, you label them as whatever term in your mind it is, you've begun the slippery slope of no longer treating that group of people as human beings. And then if you feel that way about them, then I don't have to honor. All people, every race, every color of skin, color of eyes, nation, where they live, what they have done, honor them. But you don't know what they've done in my life. You don't know what people have done in my life either. But I know I'm called to honor. And so what I'm going to do when we end this, I'm going to work on honoring people. And I want more people playing this game because that's how we're going to change the world. That's how you start seeing the fruit of spirit of love in your life. Are you honoring people? Or do you have, well, I honor this group, but not then you got to mature. This is where our maturity in love really is weak. We got a bunch of people say, I'm a follower of Jesus, then we don't love everybody, and we trash people that vote different ways, or they have that political sign or whatever. Oh, those people don't. And all of a sudden you start doing that. You don't get the respect of people because it's like, that does not sound like love. It's easy on the receiving end of lack of honor to go, that's not love. But when you're dishing it out, it seems justified. So I'm inviting everyone to now play the honor game. Good luck. I hope you win this game. I hope you do. I hope you beat me. It's not going to be that easy, though. So.
Competitive.
Yeah, wouldn't it be awesome? That's how we're being competitive?
Yeah, I love it.
Would be cool.
That every husband starts going, I'm going to open the car door for my wife from now on. Because that's how I'm going to show honor to. I'm trying to teach my boys to honor women. They have to stay standing at the dinner table till mom sits down. If mom's up, I want them to be aware of where mom is. I'm trying to teach them to respect women. I'm trying to get them to go, oh, wait, your mom's serving you. You could. Next level gameplay in this is go help mom. And they've caught on now because they want to eat. Boys like to eat hot food and lots. And so I'm like, well, you want to eat faster? Go help mom. So now they're like, Mom, what can we do for you? Mom, sit down. I'll get that. Because, 8 kids at a table. Somebody wants some kind of sauce. And guess what? Mom gets up. Guess what boys have to do? They have to get up and stand and wait. And then they get tired of that. They're like, wait, if one of us would just go get the ketchup, everybody else can keep eating. And actually, I'm going to be faster because when Mom goes in the kitchen, she starts wiping up this area. It takes her about 20 minutes to come back with the ketchup, and you got cold food. So now they're all like, and I think Mom's been doing that on purpose. I really do. I think she's been like, well, if I go slower, they might. No, but I'm trying to teach my boys to honor. I want them to honor. Just because might doesn't make right. Just because one day you'll be stronger than some people doesn't mean you can leverage that over people. That's gross. All right, let's pray. Jesus, I thank you for this beautiful day. I thank you for the amazing human beings in the studio. I thank you for Legend and Steven back there on the tech table, them helping us sound good, look good. May today your message come across simple and easy and applicable to our lives. We love you, and we're grateful for what we get to be a part of. Thank you for Dwayne sitting in from Mississippi and sharing his thoughts. May we walk out today, every one of us, and focus this week in the honor game that we'll play to win it. And we'll figure out how to do it too. If we're a father, we're married, co-workers, how am I going to honor people? And may it be a change in our life. May we begin to mature this fruit of the Spirit in our lives. Jesus, we love you in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for hanging with us today. If you would like to give your resources, your tithes and offering, we make it really simple here. You can text the number 77977 to Unlock Church. We do use those resources, obviously, to keep lights on and to be able to do camps and to do outreaches and to continue to push the good news, the gospel to the four corners of the world. That's our heart as Unlock Church. That's our desire. And so thank you for those that give. Thank you for those who have been faithful week in and week out to give. And those that give those special offerings, that all of a sudden you've been blessed. God showed up in your life. You're like, I'm going to give this to Unlock Church. Thank you. When you're doing that, I got to promise you, it's meeting our needs. Sometimes we're going, how's this going to work out? How are we going to be able to afford this as a church? And all of a sudden, God does something in your life, in your obedience. You give extra over your overflow, and then it's like, whoa, look at how good God is. And so thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your faithfulness to your tithe, your 10% of your income that God asks you to do. But thank you for those giving offerings, the overflow in your life. It's amazing. And then, Lily, what do we got going on? Summer's halfway. I know people don't want to hear that, but
I know
it is.
But we are not ending soon. We have a middle school and high schooler camp that some of you are planning to make your way out for, which is super exciting. So if you are coming, get ready for a great week. If you haven't paid yet, please make sure you've paid. I know we have some students in the chat today, so be sure to ask your parents, hey, did we pay for that? Make sure that that's done. And then those of you who are not planning to come, please pray for these students. Pray for everyone a part of it, that they would experience Jesus in a new way. Their leadership would increase as on a personal level, and then on a level with working with others and doing this thing we call honor. May it all increase next week as they do it. I'm so excited. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. We just did our local parade here. Maybe you saw that on Instagram. If you don't follow the church's Instagram account, Unlock Church, you can follow that and see all the great things your church is doing locally and globally. There's some things that we're doing that are way past us because of we've been made known of a need from people that are online. And so it's been really cool to be able to do those things. Thank you, Jacob, who is from Brainerd area, drove down on his motorcycle to be in studio.
So fun. We have a live studio audience.
We have a live studio audience today. So he came down and he's clapping so you could hear him, hopefully. He's back there. If we had a camera, we could spin.
Yes, someday.
And Dwayne, thank you for everything you've done. And as we're prepping for camp and knowing camp's coming up, you and your family made the last camp so much fun and memorable for us. You will be missed. But I hope you are getting the things done in your house as you're building down there.
Thanks. Definitely jealous of Dan making that trip up.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see his crew coming up for that. And so a lot of good things in store. Dwayne, thank you for hanging with us today. Have a lovely day. Here's the great thing about Dwayne. Next week, he could have shaved his hair, and we'll get to see it next week. Because some weeks, it's just like all of a sudden, it's just shaved. It'd be great. I think what it should be, if you're going to do it, give us a mohawk for 1 week.
I can do that.
Ooh,
that would be awesome.
I got a lot of laughs in the studio, Dwayne. I think you should do it.
It'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I would love that.
Okay, Dwayne, with a mohawk with it. So,
Yeah, it's true.
So match your goatee is what Steven's saying. So the goatee with
just go all the way back.
Yeah, go up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It would be so symmetrical.
That's awesome. Okay. Can't wait to see you next week. We will be in our third part of the fruit of the Spirit. We'll talk about what is the next fruit?
Joy.
Is it joy?
I think it's joy.
Joy.
Down in my Joey's going to sing for us.
It's joy.
Yep. Next week we're going to talk about joy. How to mature
fun.
joy in our life. All right, everybody. Have a great Sunday. We love you guys.
Bye,
Adios.
Guys. Yeah.